Time now for the shocking stat of the week. Well, increasing censorship has become a fact of life in Canada, so maybe it's no surprise that a new survey by the Aristotle Foundation for Public Policy has found that many university students are reluctant to express their views for fear that it's going to result in lower grades or some other form of retribution. I mean, it's clear that it's been going on for a long time. And just like the public debate, though, the number of no fly zone issues has increased. I have some personal experience, by the way, in this area. About 15 years ago, one of my sons was writing a paper in second year that focused on the economic impact of climate change policies. I mean, the instruction was so rife with errors that it took me just a couple of minutes to expose these gaping holes in the analysis. But my son said, doesn't matter if it's valid or not, he couldn't include any of it in his paper because the prof would give him a lower grade. Unfortunately, as I said, the number of subjects that students feel they can't express opinion if it departs from the prevailing narrative has grown well past climate change to include things like gender issues or religion, the war in the Mideast. Maybe not a surprise, though, given as Macdonald Laurier's Lindsay Shepherd cited survey data that notes 73% of social science humanities faculty identify as left wing versus 4% right wing. 88% of Canadian professors vote left wing parties contributing, by the way, she says, to a climate hostile to dissent. Now, the Aristotle Foundation survey found that 85% of students who identified as very conservative fear a lower grade for stating their views, 11 times likelier on average to report daily mistreatment, 7 times likely to report mistreatment more than once a week. I mean, the bottom line is what is supposed to be bastions of open and honest discussion. 48% of students in the survey expressed reluctance to reveal their opinions on controversial political subjects. You know, as Metropolitan University fourth year student Jonathan Bradley stated, Canadian universities have become places where ideological conformity is expected and diversity of thought is seen as unacceptable. Interesting, though, as the National Post Tristan Hopper pointed out, that's in sharp contrast to non controversial issues where 93% said, hey, no problem. Sadly, on campus, not a news story. We've got so many examples. Mark Mercer, though, I'll finish with this. The Society for Academic Freedom and Scholarship sums up the problem, stating students and professors now fearful not only of expressing the views they themselves hold, but even floating certain ideas to see what the criticisms are because they're worried they'll be sanctioned. You know, every September at the beginning of the new school year, I challenge those who say young people are our future. Education is the greatest gift to spend 10 minutes asking what students are actually being taught. Doesn't seem like many do. And as the free exchange of ideas erodes on campus, which is the antithesis of what universities are supposed to do, sadly, there's little pushback. And we're all the poorer for it, but especially our younger Canadians.